welcome to Gens Before Friends. We are on episode 28.
Nice.
And yeah, I am Mockingbird and I am here with my lovely co-host. We have Queen AMG
Hello.
and Morbid Plum.
Hi.
And so we are going to be discussing our favorite perk, but I want to start with a brief story time of something that happened not this week, but the previous week before 2v8 came out. And this has to do with anonymous mode. But let me paint the scene of my experience. I was playing Trapper on Dead Dog Saloon. I was running Corrupt Intervention. That was my only gen perk. And then I was running Enduring, Brutal, and Spirit Fury. So basically, I didn't have to respect the palettes. And in my lobby, I had a TTV and TTV friend. I know it was his friend because he had the TTV's name in his name, so it's very obvious. They were playing together. So that was a Soma and a James Sutherland. They were playing together. And then I had Anonymous Jake and then Zarina. And the Zarina and Jake were solos. And the match is going fine. And TTV ends up dying kind of midway. I did not tunnel him or anything. He did jump down in front of me injured at one point. That was kind of odd. I thought they were going to do like some save thing, but no, that didn't happen. But we get towards the end of the match. There's one gen left. I hook Jake. I get in chase with TTV friend. And we're running and running. He hasn't been hooked yet. Zarina decides to pop the last gen before unhooking Jake. And I get James down. And I hook him. Now, instead of camping James, I decide I will go trap an exit gate. So I go trap the exit gate. I'm walking back towards James. There is a gate kind of past James's hook. So heading towards the other gate. And then Zarina snaps the trap at the other exit gate. Now, she didn't heal and Jake didn't heal at the unhook. They could have. They did not. So I go...
Yeah.
So I go to kind of walk back towards the gate, but I see she's opened it. So I'm like, okay, she's out. Like, there's nothing I can really do. So I go back. Jake unhooks James. And so I'm heading back. I don't know if they're going to heal or just go to exit gate. But I find Jake in the jungle gym behind where James was hooked. I chase Jake. I down Jake. James leaves. I worry Jake. Then we get to in-game chat. I don't know what Anonymous Jake said because the first two lines were completely censored.
Oh, that can't be good.
So I
It
don't
was
know.
something really nice.
And then, just
Like,
all
I
these
really like
compliments.
your charm.
Well,
Yes, so
basically,
sweet.
then he goes off and he's like, you should just stay P14. And I'm like, wow, GG. Like, and he just starts going off on like, you suck. If I ever have you in a match, I'm going to stomp you. He's just going off. And I was like, okay, why are you mad? Like, I didn't tunnel you. I just caught you in the end game. And he's just going off. He doesn't tell me why he's mad in any way. I guess he's just mad because he died. But I mean, I didn't camp at the end game, which I could have, and ensured James died. And him and Zarina could have gone out. He didn't have to unhook James. He could have gone out with Zarina too. So I don't know what his deal was. But he was all upset. And apparently, if he ever sees me in a match, he is going to demolish me, is what I got out of it. But also to Anonymous Jake, if you ever hear this, I've already prestige Trapper 2 times, so he's no longer P14. He's P16 right now, so screw you. But
I win.
but I wanted to bring this up because this has been a topic on and off in the DVD community about anonymous mode. So they put in anonymous mode, I don't remember how long ago. I believe it was more for the content creators and streamers so that it would be more unlikely for them to get like stream sniped and other, players just wouldn't know it's a TTV. And there's been some discussion because obviously, like in this case, it allowed Jake to like chew me out. It allows people just to be mean and abusive, which is nothing new, right? Since the beginning of the internet, this has kind of been a thing. But with anonymous mode, there's no way to see who this person is. There's no way to report them. You can't see their Steam profile. So I'll tell y'all the couple solutions I've heard, and then you can tell me if you've heard of any others or your thoughts. Like solution one I've heard way back when it first came out was that in the lobby, you can be anonymous, the beginning lobby. But then in the in-game screen, you can see who everyone is.
Mm-hmm.
So that in the beginning lobby, there's no dodging or anything because someone's a TTV or you recognize someone, it's username. The more recent solution I have heard is that if you have anonymous mode turned on, you shouldn't be able to chat in the in game.
Yeah,
Turn
that's
off the
what I
chat
hear.
feature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be anonymous, you're going to be like completely anonymous. But so that was just my little experience. It didn't like upset me because he was just I don't know what his problem was. Like I can't like address what his problem was because he never said what it was. I think he was just mad. He died. But I mean, I only killed 2 and 2 got out. So it wasn't like I demolished them or destroyed them or it was like the worst match he probably ever
Yeah.
played, you know, so I don't know. But what do y'all think of anonymous mode?
I mean, I get the premise behind it, especially for people who don't want to be recognized or don't want to be stream sniped or whatever the reason is. But if you're being anonymous and you're just trying to play the game, why do you need access to chat anyways? See, I see a lot of streamers use it and they'll be anonymous, but a lot of times they're playing with like the people, like their viewers. So the viewers know they're playing, so it doesn't matter if they're anonymous because you're engaging like in their actual Twitch chat and stuff. But I mean, if you don't want people to know who you are, then why do you want to talk to people?
True.
What's the point other than I can be mean or I can throw a temper tantrum and no one knows who I am? I don't agree. Like, if you're in anonymous mode, there should still be a way to report that person, regardless.
Yeah.
Like, behavior should still be able to see who that is on their end.
They
Which,
can, but like I'll say this, like for submitting tickets, like if I thought he was cheating, right? And
yeah.
I want to do more than the little thumbs up, thumbs down part, that report, if he's on PC on Steam, typically you can look at their profile and in the
Hmm.
ticket you would give them the profile like link. That way then behavior has that if they're PC, which he was because he's talking in the in-game chat. So that's kind of the thing though with anonymous, you can't look at the Steam profile. So if he's on Steam and he's anonymous and I need to report him, I mean I can report what information I have, but like I wouldn't be able to like get his Steam profile information to submit with the report.
Seems like a big hassle. So if it's a hassle, if you put blocks in front of people, they're most likely not going to do it or not going to take the time to overcome the blocks that you put in front of them. Like if you make something harder to do, it's not going to happen. So you'll have people, not necessarily like this one, but if you have people that are really toxic, it's just going to make it harder for you to report them. And then it's kind of like, is it worth my time to do these additional steps or try to give this additional information other than I played this match at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's a copy of my video. Can you find out who this Jake is? The ends don't justify the means. Like, don't make it hard for your players to report if needed. I don't understand what the big deal is. Like kind of you mentioned, like social media in general. Like we kind of grew up with the start of everything. We were in like the first chat rooms and stuff like that, and it just blows my mind the things people will say behind a screen because no one's there and they think they can get away with it. Like just as I say at work when I do my training, because I work in a call center, and so sometimes agents, because they think they're behind a phone, there's no consequences for their actions. And I always just say, hey, just be a good human, okay? Like,
Yeah.
just be a good person. Everyone has bad games, just move on. Or if you have a bad game and there's a reason for it and you want to tell that person, who affected your gameplay, then tell them what it was. Because a lot of times, like, we've known from matches we played as survivors, and then we had like killers that were TTVs, and we've seen from their perspective what they thought we were doing versus what we were actually doing. Like
Oh
what
yeah.
he thought you were doing versus what you were actually doing is probably way different, right?
Yeah.
It's all about perspective. I understand the point of it, but I don't think it should be hard to report people. And at the end of it, I can understand how maybe you're a non at the beginning, at the end of the game, you're not, so people can see who they're playing with. Or if you are going to be anonymous, to me, that means that there is some aspect of the game that you do not want to interact with, which is people,
Yeah.
like conversing with them. So just get rid of it. And if you're going to be anonymous, then you can't be toxic in game chat.
Agreed.
Those are my thoughts.
But also, yeah, mine was at first was you can't report people. I was like, wait, that's messed up. But if there is a way, but it's kind of a roundabout way, I guess, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, you can still report them with the, you have the thumbs up, thumbs down thing, and it pops up, and you can report them on that screen in game. But like
Yeah.
for tickets, yeah,
Mhm.
if they're on Steam, you can't because you can't look at the profile.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, it's fine. Like you guys said, I get it for, maybe you're a streamer who wants to play and you don't want everyone to recognize you and freak out or whatever. But on the other hand, I feel like it can be abused, maybe. And I don't know, I think they need some more stopgaps to keep it from becoming bad.
Yeah, this is really the first instance I've had of someone anonymous being like chewing me out, and I started to reply to him, but he had already left. Like, well, I'm not gonna know it's you because I don't know who you are. Like,
Mhm.
like every anonymous person, and I'm just to be like, it's
He
okay.
just keeps a list.
I don't
Right?
know.
He has
I
his
mean,
notebook.
If I
Killers that
ever
hurt my
happen,
feelings.
I know, gosh,
Mockingbird.
if I ever run into him, I'll just be like, "You're who? Like, I don't know who you are. You were
just
anonymous. Like, I can't confirm if it was you or not. Like,
Yeah.
prove it."
And the best part about that whole thing is you have been thinking about me all the time because
oh,
apparently
that's
you know who I
true.
am, and I haven't thought about you for 1 second.
I know, yeah. Yeah, depending how much time has passed, I'll probably forget about the whole thing
Yeah.
because this wasn't really a situation that like upset me. I found it more amusing.
Funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and be like, dude, why are you so mad? Because I don't
Why you
understand why
mad,
he was
bro?
mad.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, if you're mad that Trapper's Mori sucks, I totally understand because it does suck.
Yeah,
I
Please
agree.
behavior update his Mori.
that's
Do better for
not
our
our fault.
trapper.
I know. Because I do love playing Trapper. Please, better Mori. I mean, if it was that, but then he should just said that.
Right?
Sounds to me like they made a bad gameplay, not resetting and healing, in order to go for the unhook to at least give themselves a buffer hit
Yeah.
if needed to get to a door. Because it sounds like, from what you explained to me, that the last hook was in a street.
So the
Was
last hook was, it's not in the street, but behind like all of, in my mind, I call it like the back wall of Dead Dog. So you have
Yeah,
like water tower, and then there's all the jungle gyps that run along like the
yeah.
back. So he is
So
hooked
close to the
behind.
street.
He was hooked behind there. So
Okay.
the exit gate was like down the wall. So he wasn't too
Yeah.
far from one of the exit gates.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, he went and got James. This is what I don't get. And like, I would give him props for going and unhooking him because he could have just left. He could have left
Mhm.
him on the hook and been selfish. So that's why I don't understand why he's upset. Like, you basically took a chance and sacrificed yourself. I
Well.
don't know if he's upset that I found him and not James, but James did go, if I remember correctly, I think he went to second stage because of
Oh.
how long it took for them to like unhook and then go get him. Like, I didn't know if they were going to go get him or not. And I wasn't like, I could have like stood in front of James and camped him,
Which
especially
is a
since they didn't
viable
heal.
strategy. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, to
But
me, if someone goes to second stage, and we've had this happen before, where like one of us gone to second stage, and we're like, you know what, I'm gonna go get you, and doors are open. Typically, that means you're willing to switch out,
mm-hmm.
especially if you didn't heal
Yeah.
Like I can understand if you heal, you're gonna go try to get them, maybe body block, get out a door. We've done that plenty of times. But
Yeah.
if you're injured and you're going to get that person on second stage, normally I know at least how we play, that's I feel really bad this person went to second. I'm gonna go sacrifice myself and hopefully while they're hooking, this person still has some endurance and they can get out the door,
Mm-hmm.
which is our mindset. Obviously that was not his. His was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
unhook and maybe you're gonna tunnel out to James.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Since Jake, and Zarina were solo, because Zarina, I believe, was console. So, like, I don't
Hmm.
know if she wouldn't heal him. Like, I don't know what the situation was at the unhook when he got unhooked, if she was just like, I'm going to go, like, do the gate and get
Yeah.
out. And so
I would
it may not
love
have been
to see.
totally him that decided not to heal. Maybe it was her wouldn't heal him and was like, let's just get out. And he decided to go do the unhook. I don't know. He didn't really want to share
Was the
anything.
TTV streaming the other person
No,
in there?
they were
Oh,
not.
dang it. I was like,
I
maybe we can watch their
know.
perspective.
I know. I checked.
But
No. A lot
because
of,
even if, yeah,
I'm finding a lot of TTVs are not streaming.
yeah,
Especially with 2v8 going on. I'm like, are they on? Are they on? Nope.
That is
yeah,
true.
because I'd be like, if the James is already on second, might as well take the time to heal because you
Yeah.
going over there is not going to make any difference at this
Yeah, because they
point.
were hooked like across the map. They were not hooked close to each other. Like I had
Yeah,
Jake hooked over past the building and the other side of the map, like past the
interesting.
hangmans. So they're across the map from each other. I don't know. Trying to dissect like why
I don't know.
why
Jake,
anonymous Jake is so mad. I mean, I
Jake,
didn't.
all I have to tell you, this is my advice. And this is coming from a sincere place of love and constructive criticism of a person who main survivor in the game. Jake, just listen and maybe write this down in your notebook under like the list of people that you don't want to play against anymore. And this is advice from Queen MG. And you can put advice from Queen MG, Jake, okay? Jake, get good. Um, you're welcome.
I like it. I mean, hopefully he takes notes and he lives by those words.
Better
And
watch
we're
out.
gonna put that on the t-shirt.
He's gonna add Queen AMG to his list
Yeah.
right now. If I
As
ever
someone
see
who
Queen AMG,
as someone who plays the game mediocrely, like in a mediocre way. Okay, good. Just try to get better. You're welcome.
just don't
That
be
was great,
mad.
Jake. Like,
It's just, here's some more advice. It's a game. It's
yeah.
just a game. It's okay. You did because I would say like overall he did the right thing by going and unhooking. He didn't have to do that. So that yeah. So where I want to like praise Jake for like being a good teammate,
Hmm.
but then like he was all pissed off in the end game chat. So I don't know. I mean if he needed to like get out or whatever for a daily, then he should have just left. Like I don't know why he was mad. But anyway, anonymous mode probably needs a little bit of a tweak. Some sort of change of seeing everyone in the end game or just turn off the
Hmm.
chat. I mean, because really this is only affecting PC because
Yeah.
console players can't use the in-game chat in-game. Now PlayStation and I'm sure Xbox, they have their own chat systems which can be equally as toxic. When I started playing on PlayStation, I would have random people message me that you suck. And I'm like, I've had this
Yeah.
game. I only played
Hmm.
it on PlayStation for like a month or two. So I was like, of course I suck. I've had this game 2 weeks.
And if
I
you've
don't
ever
know how to
played,
do anything. I'm trying to learn like different killers and they all do different things. Like, yeah, I suck. And you took time out of your day to send this message. Like, what does that
I
say
know,
about
right?
you?
It's like you didn't have anything better to do.
I know. That's what gets me. I'm like, you took time
But
out of your
look,
day to do this.
if you've ever played Call of Duty, you've gotten that random message that said you suck, bro.
I've not
I mean,
played that much Call of Duty. I've only played a little bit.
I used to play it on the Xbox all the time, and oh man, people were salty.
yeah. I mean, I watch people play it, and I feel like it's just rage inducing.
Hmm.
So I don't want to spend my time like hate playing a game.
Snuff
I
hate
got.
out
Yeah,
there. Love
I
each other.
know.
yeah. We're trying
Why
to have
make yourself
fun.
miserable? Like, I want to have fun. So, and I get like sometimes you want to play like certain games. Like, I've recently got into Destiny 2 with my friend Jay. Shout out Jay.
Hey, Jay.
Hi Jay. Um,
Hello.
and when I've had bad days, I'm like, I just want to pew pew, and he's like, yeah, let's get on and kill things. And like, it's relieving of the stress.
Oh, yeah, I have
But like,
those.
yeah, but like the moment I reach like where it's not like helping me anymore, then just step away, have a glass of water, go touch grass.
I'll say, touch
Like
some grass.
it's just a game. It's not life or death yet. We'll see if they ever
It
invent those
is.
games. People are funny. People get really into the games, and I get it. Like games, people are very passionate about them. If you lost, like actually, I'm gonna mirror what happened with a situation with the Jake with a game that we played recently in 2v8 where I at the end game ran to go unhook mocking, and we decided we're like we're not going to heal and we're just going to go right to the door because the door was right there.
This was my
Un-
decision. This was
yeah,
my poor decision.
but it was a decision, and we're like, cool. I'm gonna run behind you and body block in case the killer comes. Well, what happened was we were playing against a spirit who phased into the exit gate door. So when she unfazed, she was in front
Of
of
me.
mocking,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't get in front of her in time to body block to get out.
Yeah.
So that was a decision we made. Was it the best decision? No.
No.
Did we rant about it in the game? No. At the end, we were
No.
like, man, we should have
We
healed the
should just
extra
healed.
hit. Man, that was it. And we praised that spirit. We're like, that's actually like a really good. That was a good play. Like I can't be mad. That was a good play. Like we decided not to heal, and we moved on.
Yeah.
Like we didn't let it negatively impact our attitude or anything because it's
No.
the game.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
game.
clearly, you should have been upset and
Oh,
like,
yeah, I should have been raging at the
Yeah.
spirit. How dare you hit me
How dare
in the
you?
game where you're supposed to kill me? And yeah, it was
It was
fine. I mean,
it was a
it was ultimately I thought I could get out with the endurance effect. We were close enough, but
mhm,
we were not close enough. So it was just a poor decision, and it happens. And
mhm,
it's a game. It's a game. And
mhm,
I understand the game can be frustrating at times. I have been frustrated with it, but yeah, you have to take a break and go play something else or do something else. Because yes, the regular game mode, I feel like 2v8 is more casual, so I am
mhm,
it just is what it is. But I mean, I can understand being frustrated with the normal gameplay because I'm like so sick of scored choke pain res every
mhm.
time we play the regular game. Oh my gosh, but it's fine. But anyway, that was my little story time.
Nice. Thanks for sharing with the
I
class.
loved
We
it.
appreciate it.
Well, it's something that happened recently, so it's like I guess if we ever have some, interesting games or something, we should make some time to talk about them. But this episode is really going to be about our favorite perk. We've done a whole episode on it before. This is our second episode on Distortion because it was recently changed. And so let me go over what it used to do. So in the 6.1 update, they had buffed it that you started the trial with 3 tokens, and whenever, the killer tried to read your aura, you would lose a token. It also suppressed the creation of your scratch marks. And then for every 30 seconds you were in the killer's terror radius, you would gain a token. So that was what it was. And then in the 8.3 update, so it went through well, this was the big nerf, and then they kind of tweaked it a bit. So you start the trial with 1 token. And whenever the killer attempts to read your aura, you lose a token, same thing. Still suppresses your scratch marks. But now to get tokens back, they started it with every 30 seconds in chase would get you a distortion token. And you could have a max of 2 tokens. But when it initially came out, that was not well received. The 30
Mhm.
seconds seemed to be too long for most people. So in their 8.3.2 update shortly after, they made it every 15 seconds you're in chase, you get a token. Still max of 2. So our beloved Distortion has been nerfed.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's not the best. So, Morbid, what are your thoughts?
I'm sad.
Should we mourn?
We should definitely mourn and
Mm-hmm.
have a eulogy maybe at the end.
I
Well,
mean,
I
maybe
guess.
like a Viking funeral. Can
Well,
we
I
rent a
mean,
boat
is
and
the
burn it?
perk is the perk dead?
Oh, good
Um,
question. Okay. I don't think it's dead. It's usable. Obviously, it's not, to me, it's not as good as it used to be because I did get a lot of use out of those 3 tokens. And it was really easy to get those tokens back because obviously you hid in the terror radius for, I can't remember how many seconds,
It was
but
30.
30, you're right. Yeah. And, it was easy to get it back and whatnot. And now, as someone who's not a very good chaser, it's a little bit harder. I mean, 15 seconds seems short, but in the scheme of things, it could be really long. And I just feel like it would take a long time for me personally because of my play level. I think it would take a while to get those tokens back. But I don't know if it's dead. I don't that one I think I might have to think more on. Because like I said, it's still usable. It's just not what it used to be for us personally. Yeah, I'm sad that they went to the length, not lengths they did, but like they went after this perk, which is something that a lot of people use. And I don't know why. But I mean we'll talk about that more, I think. How about
Queen.
you, Queen?
I mean, I don't think it's dead. I don't think it's as useful as it used to be. When they had the 30 seconds, that was definitely way too long because that was
Yeah.
30 seconds for me was maybe like 2.5 chases.
Mm-hmm.
And typically every chase I get in, I end up getting knocked down and or hooked. So that was 2 hook stakes for me to get, a token back, which
Yeah.
really not worth it if you look at it. Can you still get some use out of it? Yes. The 15 seconds is a lot better. I've changed up how I do my perks. I haven't been running Distortion at all. Mocking's really the only one that's been running it to kind of tell us
Yeah.
if there's like lethal pursuer or try to figure out other perks, but it's not as useful as it used to be and giving you the extra tokens to kind of figure out perks.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're in chase and you vault and you lose a token, you can be like, oh, they have I'm all ears. Or if someone's injured and you're on a gin and you hit, a certain skill check and you lose a token, you're like, oh, they have gearhead. You have more tokens to burn through. And then all you have to do is go get in the terror radius, which can be risky. So that can be either chase or blocking for somebody in chase or, I don't know, hiding while someone's in chase to get those tokens back. I don't know. It's not dead, but it's not what it used to be. And I don't find as much value in it anymore. So I've just transitioned to other perks where I feel like I can get better value. And I'm trying to get better with my game sense as well, with seeing, how the killer does things or how things happen in the match to figure out perks,
Yeah, that's a
special
good
or
point.
reading perks instead of relying on distortion. But we try to, if we're swiffing, at least have one person run it so we at least know if there's lethal and then we can kind of go from there. But I've just completely taken out of my rotation.
Yeah, I have as well. I forgot to mention that.
So yeah, I'm the only one running it.
Hmm.
She's our
And
token distortion person.
Yeah.
I haven't given up on it. I do still get value out of it, especially against lethal. Like I had a solo match where there was lethal, but there was also a hex totem in play, and I spawned like really close to the hex totem and found it, and it was gone within the first minute of the match. And I know if I would have been seen without distortion, the killer probably would have went for me first, obviously, and I would not have been able to get that hex out of the way. So I think it is still usable. The problem with the 30-second also that they first did is some killers you're not in chase with like
Hmm.
very long. like blights, nurses, huntresses. Like sometimes you don't even
Mm-hmm.
get chased at all. Like huntress downs you far away with a hatchet. Like you're getting like 0 seconds towards distortion tokens. So, but I mean, I think the same thing could have been said about the terror radius. You have killers that don't have a terror radius and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I still run it. I still get use out of it. I'm not ready to give up on it yet. And just like other perks, like sometimes I get no value out of it if they're not running aura reading. Like it's funny that when they did this whole
Mm-hmm.
perk change, like with this update with the distortion, there was a bunch of perks that were also updated. And I feel like after they did this update, killers were running less aura reading and more
Like
hexes.
builds.
There's been a lot of hex builds lately, so it's kind of funny that some matches I'm not getting any value out of distortion, and some I am. But I agree that it's harder to figure out the whole loadout of the killer
Mm-hmm.
because we have so few tokens. Like I would
Yeah.
if lethal eats a token, then I basically need to go try to get another token to try to figure out if there's barbecue or nowhere to
Mm-hmm.
hide. So it does make it harder than it was before to figure out what the killer is running. But with this update, they also changed some killer perks, and we're not going to go through all of them. We're going to go through the ones that kind of relate to distortion. So they updated Zanshin Tactics. This is an Oni perk, and it shows the killer the auras of breakable walls, pallets, and windows. And with this last update, they buffed it. So now you see the auras are just pallets and windows, so no breakable walls within 32 meters. But whenever a survivor drops a pallet, their aura is revealed to you for at max 5 seconds. When they initially came out with it, it was 8, and then they nerfed it in the 8.3.2 update to 5 seconds. So now you have aura reading around pallets. And then I guess we can go through the other one. The other one is Predator. Predator
Mm-hmm.
is Wraith perk, and what it initially did was something totally different
Mm-hmm.
than aura reading. It just caused the scratch marks to be closer together. So this is a really good perk. And you think about Wraith came out, he's one of the first killers, came out with Trapper and Hillbilly. And so when you're first learning how to track survivors and track scratch marks, this was a really useful perk. But I would say it doesn't get ran anymore, especially among experienced killers.
Yeah.
So they totally changed it in the 8.3 update. That when a survivor loses you in chase, their aura is revealed to you for 6 seconds. And well, that was the 8.3, and then they nerfed it a little bit to 4 seconds. And then
Yeah.
it does have a cooldown.
Yeah. I will say that with this one from the change, a lot of experienced people didn't use the old version with the scratch marks being closer together, but people who had like visual impairments did. For example, colorblind or something else where visually they would run this perk to track better. So I am kind of, I don't want to say like upset, but I don't know if they thoroughly thought what taking this away would do for people who relied on it just to have normal gameplay, if that makes any sense. And then to completely revamp it into a whole other perk. Because I was watching a streamer and he basically said, yeah, they took away a perk that he relied on because he is colorblind, does have a hard time seeing scratch marks because they're red. There's certain colorblind, so you
Yeah.
can't see that color. So having this with the settings that he'd have on his computer made it easier for him to track when he was playing killer. I don't know if they thought of that, how some people use certain perks. So I feel like if you're going to take away something that part of your players are using due to like visual impairment, then maybe you need just to put something in your system in general. Like they do have colorblind settings. I don't think they're super awesome and amazing. They do have like the visual heartbeat and stuff now. Maybe they need to put like an equivalent to this as something base game in settings for people to use.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I don't know if you
Yeah.
should have to rely on a perk because you're
Yeah.
colorblind. Like
Yeah.
that's an accessibility thing,
Yeah,
and
for
they
Hmm.
sure.
should just change. I don't know why you can't just. They have another option for scratch mark colors. I mean, I'm not knowledgeable on colorblind and what color would be best, but I would think they could come up with
Yeah, that's
visually
something.
how can a colorblind setting. I mean, like Queen said, there
Yeah.
are some settings. They did put some settings in for colorblind, but if they're not good enough, then they need to revisit that and look at it from, the killer side and how easy is it to see the scratch marks on different
Yeah.
maps because I'm sure the scratch marks look different on different maps because some are bright, some are dark, some have different tones to them. So
Well,
I'm
not only
not
that, everything is red. Like all ores or your hooks are
red.
red, scratch marks are red. I'll admit, like when I do play killer, I have a hard time seeing all the red stuff. I would love to be able to choose my own color option because then it can be something that pops for me,
Mm-hmm.
Which I
especially like on the farm maps and stuff. I'm losing those scratch marks
oh yeah.
really fast because they're brighter maps. So I would really love the option to be able to maybe choose that, something that would be easier. I think like a color that'd be easier for me is probably like a greens or blues.
Oh, which
So
I did discover accidentally on Power Wash Simulator. You can change the color of like when you play the game, you can like press, I think it's like tab, and it'll show you where all the dirt is. And you can change the color of it as
yeah,
it's like flashing, which I didn't realize you could do that. And I feel like that's something they need to offer then if
yeah.
they don't have these in place. That way you can change like to purple or pink or, green, whatever makes sense for you, whether based on your visual needs and
Or
whatnot.
maybe color preference. Maybe
Or
you
yeah,
want to
color
have bright
preferences.
pink scratch marks.
Yeah,
But for
I would
me, it
love
would be
to
a
have
visual
purple.
thing. Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting that that's not built into the game. I mean, I know not every game is going to have concessions for issues that people have, but I do think that that's something that has become an issue I've noticed and that people have tried to address with like add-ons or overlays and whatnot.
Yeah. And I don't think it's something that behaviors really paying attention to because back when we had what was it, is it the blood moon event?
Yeah.
I think
The
it was the
event
blood
where
moon.
everything was freaking red.
Oh
Yeah.
Everything
yeah.
was red. All the circles on the ground were red. All the
Oh yeah,
blood
yeah.
going up was red.
Mhm.
That was really hard for a lot of people who are colorblind. Everything was red. And even for us who aren't colorblind, it was a lot of red.
Yeah.
It was really easy, unfortunately, for the killer to lose you if you like ran into a blood circle because everything was red. So why are we just having red everywhere? I get like red blood, like scary red, you know, but others make, I don't know. There's a lot of colors in the world. Choose a
Well,
different hex code. Like,
well, the thing is, like with the Blood Moon event, they wanted to do like red for like the circles. Then they need to have an option where you can have a different color for like the gens and the hooks, right? Like
yeah.
that's basically what we're getting down to is like everything was red, but if you were able to change your settings to make your gens and your hooks blue, then you could
Hmm.
separate out what you're looking at,
Hmm.
and it'd be easier to distinguish, okay, that's where the circle is, and there's my hooks and my gens. Like, it would be great if there was more accessibility in the game,
Yeah,
but
like agree. Not having to have a perk to have that in there.
mhm.
And now the one perk that they did have is gone and completely changed for a whole other purpose.
Well,
Yeah.
this
That's not really a
is
rework. I mean, at least I don't feel like it.
well, this is what I don't get. This was the thought I had. Is why did they tack on this aura reading onto these
Hmm.
well, they tacked it onto Zanshin and then they totally redid Predator. Why not just save that for like new perks? Why not just
Hmm.
make a new perk where you see the aura around dropped pallets? You see the aura of survivors when you get out of chase. Because the thing in my mind, my logic is they come out with a new chapter every 3 months. Aren't they ever going to run out of perk ideas? Like, why didn't you just save this for the
Yeah.
next killer, the next chapter, and put these in as new perks? And then you could have kept Predator the
Mm-hmm.
same, kept Zanshin the same. I feel like they're trying to like change perks that are not used that much,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I feel like the reality is there are so many perks in the game.
Yeah.
I didn't even go count. There's so many perks in the game. You're gonna have perks that are not as valuable as others. Like they can't perfectly balance this game. The perks are not ever gonna be all equal. So yeah, like I will never run Predator because I am not colorblind. I have had enough practice with Killer that I can follow the scratch marks pretty well. But then you have people that are colorblind and are relying on Predator, so then they can still use the perk.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they didn't just come out with these as new perks for the next killer. That was kind of my thought. When are we gonna run out of perk ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also was kind of like a punch in the gut too with this update with them nerfing distortion and then adding aura reading.
two,
Yeah.
Uh,
two aura reading.
yeah, I was like, why? Why are we doing this? Because again, distortion was a solid perk and it was used for more than just hiding auras. We were using it to also try to figure out what other perks the killer had. And the gameplay at that time was very aura reading perk heavy. So it was almost impossible to get through a match if you didn't have distortion. And I know that there is a big thing with distortion and being like, oh, if you use distortion, you're impacting your teammates, and it's just not a good perk to use. Like, it's stupid, don't use it. If I tunnel somebody, it's because of your distortion users. And I'm like, why? If you can't find me, then that's on you. Because if you have aura reading, and I think I mentioned it in the last like distortion podcast, if you have a full set of aura reading perks and you can't find me, I am under your ass. That's the only reason you can't find me, because my tokens are constantly going up. I'm very close to you. That's you not having good game sense.
Yeah.
And I can still actively play. And for the most part, we are not like one of those distortion user people that I'm gonna go hide in the corner all game. We
Mm-mm.
weren't like that. We would try to take chase, try to take hits. Unless, the killer was playing like a dick, then yeah, we're gonna make you look for us because of how you're playing. I just don't like how that was the kind of killer excuse. So I can't find anybody, all distortion users are hiding, and because if I can't find you, I'm gonna have to tunnel out your teammates. Now that's you deciding that that's how you're gonna play. I have no impact on how you play. And also, like, why are people telling me I have to play a certain way too?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
which I don't get. Let me play the way I want to play. I'm not a person that wants to go and get chased the whole game. Some people are thrilled. That's what they love. Cool. Go run out in the middle of that map, find the killer. I will gin jockey for you. I will try to take hits when I can. I will help support that play style. But let me stealth around the map and be cheeky and go slap the killer's bum and then go get on a gin. Like that's all I want to do. Let me do that. So I think it has less to do with the perk than it has to do with there's just certain play styles that I don't think are as welcome in the DBD community because people are assuming that if you're doing gins and running around open chest or whatever, they talked about it. Oh, you're just playing gin simulator. Well, maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe I really like hitting buttons on my controller or my keyboard. You don't
But
know.
also, isn't that the point of the game? Is
To
I'm
do the
supposed to do
gins.
gens and escape, and you're supposed to keep me from doing that. So, like, it's not me being a dick, like, oh, I'm gonna run distortion to screw all these people over and hide and make them be upset when they can't find me. Like, no, I'm supposed to be hiding to do gens so that I can leave.
Yeah, and I think I shared this experience in a previous episode where around this time when they changed Distortion. I didn't run it, and
Yeah.
I was solo, so I was not with y'all. But like two people went down, someone was already dead, and they hooked, and this hillbilly had barbecue, so he could see me. Like he slugged one, he hooked one, and then he could just see me. If I had Distortion on, I could have potentially saved my team. I could have either picked the person that was down up or tried to go for the unhook. But it was just basically game over. So because he decided to slug and then hook. So it's just I still think distortion has value. I think it's needed, honestly,
Mhm.
with how many aura reading perks are in the game. I'm trying to find like a list, but
There's a lot killer side, and there's
it's a
very few survivor side, and
yeah.
Distortion's the best out of them. Other than hiding in a locker, Distortion is the best aura reading, blocking of aura reading perk that there is for
It's the only.
survivors. I mean, it's the only one that really has any value.
Mm-hmm.
Other than, you do have your totem perks, but it doesn't move with you. That's stationary. And who
Oh yeah,
has
shadow
time if
step.
you have, yeah, Shadow Step, if you have that up to run to where it is, or every time you get somewhere, you're going to have to bless a totem again, which takes time.
Yeah, it does
So
take a while.
I would rather not have to worry about taking extra steps so I can be on a gen. Because if I am blessing, or every time I move somewhere, I'm blessing a totem to have Shadow Step move with me. It's just to me, it's not worth the time I'm taking to have to bring it up every time I move somewhere. Like, it doesn't make sense to nerf it and then just continuously adding. Because I feel like you're just adding to the problem of what we're talking about. Like
Yeah.
it's distortion. And the funny thing is, distortion's not even one of the top perks that gets run all the time.
Mm-hmm.
For it to have such like be such a divider in the community. One of the
Yeah.
last times we did the top ranking perks, I don't think it even broke the top 10.
No, it's. I don't think
I
it's
don't think
ever been
so
in
either.
the. I don't think it's ever been in the top
Yeah.
10. Yeah, I don't think it's ever been top 10. So why it's such. I think it's just this perception that people are hiding with it, and that's not. Yes, we are hiding, but that doesn't mean we're hiding and doing nothing. I think we've
Yes.
made that point of we're on
Yeah, for
gens,
sure.
we're going for unhooks, but we're using this perk because there's so many aura reading perks. There's nowhere to hide. I feel like the common ones is, of course, barbecue, lethal, nowhere to hide. I would say those are like the top three I come across.
That
Yeah.
one got me. We posted a video on our YouTube for those who just listen to us recently of the very professional way we play PTV. And at the end, afterwards, I was telling the ladies that I should have realized immediately that this person had nowhere to hide in a chase for how they were following me. And it took like that chase plus them hitting another gen in my face and chasing me again to realize after I got hooked, like, oh, I think I have nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
If I had distortion, I probably would have known sooner. Yeah, it's funny. Go watch it. We had a good time.
It was
You
fun.
can, yeah.
Especially watching it back. I was like, wait, we said all that because we were hilarious.
We were pretty funny. Like, insight to what to like to be in a match
Yeah.
with us. We're very professional.
Oh yeah, it was PTV. Of course, we're super
Yeah, it was
professional in
it
the
was fun.
pretend gameplay, but
But yeah, like I was just thinking about this. I'm just like reading random things, but they talk about how like, oh, we want to balance the game so that everyone has fun on both sides. And I definitely don't feel like it's becoming balanced on the survivor side, especially if with regards to aura
I feel
reading.
I feel like balance overall in the game is like kind of like a roller coaster. It
Oh
like
yeah.
they at times balance towards survivor and at other times they balance towards killer. I feel like it depends on which side of the community is the loudest at the time, which I think is what got
Yeah.
distortion nerfed is was all this talk about distortion and hating on distortion. And I think there are more useless perks out there than distortion. I think there's
Yes.
way more other perks that are used that are in the top 10 and no one complains. No one complains about windows of opportunity. No one complains about adrenaline.
That's true.
Like there are a bunch of other perks in the top 10 that I don't think get the hate, and they're used constantly. But I do think there are times in the community that perks get complained about. I mean, that's what happened with DS
What's that happened with Iron Will?
and Iron Will. They finally brought Iron Will back ish, like mostly, except for the exhausted condition.
Mm-hmm.
But like, still, like DS, when they nerfed that, that was kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I get some of the nerf of like it not working in the end game, but when they like shorten it to like 3 seconds, and I think it was like Otts did a test of like how fast could you down someone after DS based on like what killer, like Blight,
Mm-hmm.
Nurse. It doesn't make a difference. Like running DS does nothing for you against mobility
Yeah.
killers. So yeah, I think this nerf came about because all of the complaining, and sometimes I just wish behavior would just, I don't know, like I want them to listen to the community, but then like sometimes I'm like, well, you need to really think about, is this a good change overall to the game? Right?
Yeah.
Like the Predator change. Like, do they know that people are running it because they're
Mm-hmm.
colorblind? They must. I would think someone at behavior does when they still decide to do this change. Now, unless they're going to come out, in the next 6 months or something and say, "Hey, we're changing our accessibility settings," then it'll make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things like sometimes they release stuff in weird order, also,
Yeah.
and they release stuff together. Like this change, the distortion change with the Zanshin and Predator changes together, where it's like feels like you're beating up on survivors because you're like, we're gonna take away distortion and then we're gonna add more aura reading and
Which I
make it
don't get at all.
even harder for you to like play this game and get out and do the gens.
I feel like if you're gonna add aura reading, then give us another perk that blocks it somehow. And another thing that I've brought up just in general conversations with us is behavior has other mechanics to help with this. If the overall concern was people who are using distortion aren't doing anything and they're just hiding in a corner for in game, then they have killer instinct in the game. And I know the killer instinct is for like certain killers, like all killers don't have it. But I'm one of those mindsets, I'm sorry, if you're running around in the game and not doing anything and put a time frame on it. If you haven't touched a gen, done anything game wise, gotten a chase in a certain time frame, then I fully believe that killer instinct should go off on you so the killer can see where you are, regardless if you're in a locker, regardless of whatever, and they can go get you because you're not doing it to help your teammates. And that could be something at in game once the doors are like powered where it doesn't proc anymore, especially if like there's one person left. Because sometimes you have to finagle get into the doors, and that might take you a little while of doing nothing or walking back and forth or stuff like that. But you have a mechanic that can offset what people are complaining about, and we can still have distortion for those who are using it the way it's supposed to be used. So I don't understand why they don't do something like that. Like you have that mechanic in there, why can't it be used for other things? It just makes sense to me. Because we've had plenty of matches where yes, we had the unfortunately a lot of times it's a Claude. I'm sorry, Claude. A Claude hiding in the bush, and I've gone to second stage plenty of time because someone was too scared to come unhook me, and they just spent the whole game hiding. That person deserves to have their aura revealed to the killer, regardless if they have distortion or not, because they're impacting gameplay. But if I'm not impacting gameplay and you're just not finding me, we've had plenty of matches where one of us, or say like me, I might have had the most points in that game because I was unhooking, I was doing gens, I got away in chase, and you couldn't find me because of distortion. I was still playing my game for my teammates. Like I was still playing it how it should be. You're just angry because you didn't find me. That's different than that person who is actively hiding and not doing anything and gets hatched and gets 5,000 points at the end of the game compared to like the 30,000 I got.
Yeah, I feel like people that argue, like, well, you didn't do anything. I'm like, look at my points. Look at the points. The points don't lie.
Clearly, I did something.
You just weren't there for it because as the
Hmm.
killer, you're not going to, hopefully, you're not camping. There's anti camp now, but kind of, but camping the hook, you're not going to know who is unhooking. Like, you're not going to know if they were touching a gen at the far corner of the map and then got off to go get the unhook. Like, if you have like 20,000 points, you are doing stuff in the game. It's when you don't have points, then you need to be like, yeah, that survivor sucks. That survivor wasn't helping their team.
And also,
Yeah.
like, if you know that your lobby, you're a killer, and you know that your lobby has distortion, you figure it out. I am also perfectly fine with the playstyle adjusting. And hey, if you come back to hook when they're unhooked, that's perfectly logical playstyle because you couldn't find me with distortion and then you could chase me. Like, I don't know, that stuff doesn't make us angry or anything like that. I don't know. I just don't understand how people, and this is killer and survivor side, because we've had people who like talked with us on like our social media and stuff, and I've asked them like, hey, are you a survivor main? Are you a killer main? And a lot of them are actually survivor mains, and it's because they've had bad experiences with teammates having it and just not doing anything. And I can understand how annoying that would be. But if you're using it correctly, it's not supposed to be a detriment to your team. It's supposed to be a plus because if something bad does happen, like mocking match, where two people get down and there's a slug and you know they have aura reading, then that's your chance, distortion users, to go in and save the day. That's how you should be using it. Let me go see if I can get these people up. The killer can't see me. And most of the time, if you have distortion, maybe you haven't taken as many hook states, then that's your time to take some heat. And hopefully they can reset and the game can continue and we can find a way to get out. I don't know. I feel like there's people out there that just kind of ruined it for everyone. And I think that's what annoys me.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
It's always great. I love your TED Talks. They're wonderful.
I'm going to start charging.
Yeah, we can upload them to YouTube and like lock them, make them monetize.
Do we have any other thoughts on distortion?
No, I just think it should go back to the way it used to be.
That would be nice.
It will be missed.
Now we'll just get heat for running Iron Will like we used to back in the day.
Yeah,
You gosh
exactly.
darn Iron Will users. That's how I didn't find you at the door.
I love Iron Will. They've
so
just. I don't think they'll touch Iron Will again.
Hopefully
I
they
hope
leave it the
not.
way it was.
I
That's
think.
how it. I got away from the killer in our video, and then they just found Christine.
Yeah, it's a good perk. I like that one too.
Well, okay. In 2v8, also, if you're a scout and you're injured, you have Iron Will, which is how I got out of a solo match of 2v8 where Wraith was waiting at the door. I should have gotten healed. I saw other survivors, but I was like, I'm just going to leave. And Wraith was waiting at the door. And so I'm like crouched using my urban. And he eventually left and I ran out. But like,
nice.
It was very tense for me on my end. Like, is he gonna see me like behind this wall? Like, can you please leave? Are you ever going to leave, or I'm gonna die right here in this corner because you will not leave?
I know.
But
I
love
feel like Iron Will's really good for that stuff. But I mean, killers, pick your poison. Do you want to be able to see us or hear us? Because personally, I feel like hearing is very important in the game for when you're in chases, when you're in close proximity to survivors, especially having played a little more killer with like 2v8s and stuff. Hearing's super important.
Yes.
So, I mean, pick your poison. Do you want to see me all the way across the map, or would you rather be able to hear me when you're in chase to find me? So,
Yeah, especially playing 2v8. I'm like, oh, I need to hear people to find
I've
them.
lost so many people.
I'm like, I don't hear them anymore.
Hear them. Yeah.
Well, I've been trying to play more Spirit in 2v8s. Okay, I'm getting better. So yeah, Spirit.
Very popular.
Well. So. I also have a Steam achievement I haven't gotten with Spirit, so I'm using this time of like it's the achievement for downing people after you come out of your power.
Oh, okay.
I will say I've had lots of fun in 2v8 gen grabbing people off of gens. I have done it
It's
so many
fun.
times. I did not realize people had no idea I was coming for them.
I did it like once, and I was so excited.
I played a match earlier today. This poor Adam, I pulled him off twice, 2 times.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh my god, it's the same survivor. Poor Adam. But anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get better respect. But with her, that you do see scratch marks with her, but it's also a lot of audio with her, which is harder for me. Like following Survivor just pretty much by audio, because if they stop running, then they don't leave scratch marks. They're trying to juke you. So, but yeah, I got 10 more to go for my achievement, and I can not play Spirit anymore.
Hey, I can actually leave killer dailies on now. I'm like, hey, I can
Yeah,
actually
it's
do
nice.
these.
We will talk about, I guess, 2v8 in another episode, because there's a lot that has changed with this iteration of 2v8, which I've enjoyed a lot on both
Yeah, it's been
ends.
so much fun.
Well, if that is it for our thoughts on Distortion, I believe Morbid would like to share
I do.
something.
I would like to eulogize Distortion for you all today. So let's get to it. Today we gather to mourn the loss of a quiet yet steadfast companion in Dead by Daylight's fog-laden trials, Distortion. A perk not of brute force or fiery flair, but one of subtlety, cunning, and survival. Distortion was the unsung hero of many a survivor. It stood as a shield against the piercing gaze of killer auras, a silent promise that for just a moment you were safe, hidden in the shadows, unmarked by the trial's cruel mechanics. It didn't ask for much, just tokens, patience, and a little trust. In return, it offered solace, ensuring that nurses calling didn't betray your healing, that barbecue and chili didn't sell out your post-hook stuff, and then Lethal Pursuer couldn't target you from the start. Distortion wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, but oh, how it worked in tandem with strategy and stealth, a lifeline for a thoughtful player. Its departure leaves a void in our collective playstyles, a reminder that even in games, nothing lasts forever. Perks come and go, meta shift, and the entity watches on. A restful Distortion. Though your tokens are spent, your memory will persist in the hearts of those you kept hidden. Survivors will find new ways to evade, to endure, but they will never forget the calm assurance you once provided. Gone but not forgotten, you will remain a legend in the archives of Dead by Daylight. May your spirit live on in the minds of those who knew your worth. Rest in peace, dear Distortion.
It was
I
beautiful.
feel like I should be like, this is our Independence
Yeah, I
Day.
know, right? I feel so like empowered.
It's
I'm gonna take it
sad.
back. But it's true.
I know. It's just I'm sad. I tried not to overuse it, but I couldn't help myself. I did it
I
all the
mean,
time.
we all used it. It was in our loadout.
I'm still
Yeah, it
using
was my
it. Screw you, behavior.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
still using it.
it was my
Machine's
meta for
holding
sure.
on. I'm
I-
like, fine. You won't let me use Distortion. You're not gonna be able to hear me. Once you hit me,
Facts.
you're not gonna see my scratch marks. And I'm gonna quick and quiet in the lockers. That's what you get.
Yes, because I've been running quick and quiet now, so I've been losing you people in lockers.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
see, and I'm just the worst one because I'm running Distortion and Iron Will.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Now you need quick and quiet and really screw everybody over.
I could. I debate. I kind of change it around with quick and quiet, inner healing.
Maybe
But
they'll give us something, I don't know, to replace it.
I don't
I
know.
don't
Not
think
not in
that's
the
gonna
next
happen.
chapter. We know that already with the Houndmaster
Well,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
and
technically-
Tori, which we're not going to talk about.
Screw you, Tori.
we don't
Okay.
care.
We're
We'll
gonna
cover
do that.
this.
We need to do another episode so y'all can know how much Queen loves Tori. The
Oh, if
new
you thought she didn't like
Screw you.
Lady Voldemort, oh boy.
You guys
Jonah.
know I
I
main
don't-
Voldemort. I main Lady Voldemort now. You guys know that, right?
Like, I think her
I need
wrath
someone to hate.
for Tori is worse than my wrath for Jonah.
Screw you, Tori.
I need more wrath for someone. There's really nobody I don't like.
Well, they've also Bug Skull merchant out. She's like all messed up right now. So
Okay.
Oh. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
yeah,
I'll
I
play her.
see.
I'll
I
main
see all
her
the
no
Twitter
matter
stuff.
what. Actually, I probably would need to buy her before I start main. I main her in spirit. Yeah.
I love that you don't own her. It's wonderful.
Yes, I will never get all my Steam achievements because I do not own Skull
My
Merchant.
only goal is to be the world's best Skull Merchant player
Nice.
once I cave in and actually buy her.
I don't know. They're supposed to
Probably never
be.
happen. So
They're
it's gonna happen in my
supposed.
mind.
They're supposed to be doing a total rework of her. We'll see. We'll see what it is. I don't know. Hopefully they don't screw it up like they did the twins.
Oh God.
Oh, that was really bad.
Yeah, that was really bad. But
Stop touching things, okay?
not everything needs to be like touched. Distortion
And
didn't need to be touched.
as I
Twins
said,
just
yeah.
needed a few little tweaks. Like they kept the stuff in for twins that need to be kept in, like little quality of life number changes and stuff. But their overall big rework was like a mess. So hopefully they don't mess up Lady Voldemort's. We'll see. And hopefully we get shirtless Felix sometime soon.
Yes, please.
I want to make Urban Evasion the new meta. That's what I want.
You, it's fun in 2v8. That is
Yeah.
one of the things I have
is.
on there for one of them. And I
For
forget,
Scout.
like, you spend a lot of time in the game crouched.
Yeah.
If you think about it. So I was like, why does people hate on Urban Evasion so much? It's actually
I
a
don't
really nice
know.
perk. I've had it on and because I like to play Scout. I like to see where the killer is. So I like to play Scout so I can position myself where I'm crouched. And I've had plenty of times where the killer like tries to look around where I am, and I'm just urban evading it around a rock in a circle, and the killer doesn't even know. Uh, wait until people think that's too powerful.
Right? When
I
that
couldn't find them
happens,
because they were urban evading with Iron Will
the game is dead.
and Lucky Break. Oh,
Oh,
I don't
that's
know.
too overpowered.
All I'm saying is behaviors. You can give us distortion back, and then if someone's not doing something in game, like a survivor's not doing something in game, give it a time frame. I don't know, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Then killer instinct goes off, and there you go. Killers never have to worry about I can't find them. And the people who actually know how to use distortion and play it right can continue using it that way, and the people who are trying to abuse it and turning it into what is perceived as a negative perk, then they'll either start using it right, or you know what? Regardless of where you are and if you're running it or where you're hiding, the killer will find you and they will hook you. That's a promise. That's free. I'm not even going to charge you for it. Behavior. You're welcome.
Okay. Should we close it out?
Yes.
I
Sure.
guess so.
Any other thoughts? We kind of went off on some
No.
tangents at the end
Look,
here
I
after
have
our
lots of
eulogy.
thoughts,
But
but
I think we have lots
I'm
of.
here for.
I know, but like I feel like we're trying to like put tidbits of other episodes in here. Have like
I know.
Poundmaster,
Look,
2v8.
Previewing. We suck them in, and then they're like, "Oh, there's gonna be an episode on that. Cool."
No one's here for like the direct linear way we have conversations. I'm sorry, it's true. No one's here for that. People
No, it's for
people
the
are here
chaos.
for our chaotic, you know, conversations. But I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with closing out. Yes, go check out our PTV video and have some giggles. Maybe if you're having a bad day, hopefully it brings a smile to your face. And again, you can see how we work together as a group and how we don't like Tori. That we talk about that there too.
A little bit. We
Oh,
probably
yeah.
need a whole episode for Queen to like explode out on the
Yeah.
and us.
Yeah,
I guess we need to talk about the lore. It's her lore that is the problem.
It's one of those instances where I'm like, I feel like the survivor and killer should have been switched.
Yes.
And I didn't like the way they did the lore story sense wise. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to be super creative. But like Mocking said, that's a video to rant about later.
We need more time. We'll be here like in another hour if we let
Okay.
Queen go off on Tori.
Okay, I'll write it in. I can do the closing. We can close out. So, as always, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening and your wonderful comments and your wonderful likes and your reception of the playthrough I did of the casting of Frank Stone. 2 of those videos are our highest viewed right now. on YouTube, so we appreciate it. We're getting ready to start another game. Mocking's going to have one, so look out for that on the YouTube, and we'll, of course, post on our Instagram when that's up. But
Woo-hoo.
as we always say, we want to wish you a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And bye.
Bye.
Toodles.